Okay, hello everyone. It's another Startup Grind virtual event, which is actually quite exciting. With me here today, I have Ceci Ojany Bekor, who is actually, a phenomenal lady, I would say. We actually cross paths together through the Next Gen program, which Startup Grind Banjul actually participated um, with quite some formidable ecosystem players across Africa. And one of the reasons why we actually thought that this topic was actually very important is we've been going through a lot as professionals, as actually startups that actually want to, improve their life and also check their well-being as well. That has been one of the very critical things that really people should really be aware of. So I think Wholesome Living 2021 and beyond is quite exciting, especially for myself, and I know for a lot of people that are actually joining the call to identify strategies that they can use to actually be better in everything that they're doing. So here today I have Coach Ceci Ojany Bekor, who is actually the director of the main protagonist. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly.
The main protagonist, yeah. Coachy. It's a mouthful.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'm just actually gonna read out your bio. Those, so they can have a better overview of who you are and what you've been doing.
Yeah.
So, so Coach Ceci Ojany Bekor works as a leadership and wellness coach. She works with leaders in Kenya and overseas, helping you solve your personal and professional problems. Ceci's coaching style is very human-centric. It begins with a deep respect for her unique personality and goals, which is why her programs work for individuals of different nationalities. She has also provided coaching support to entrepreneurs, assisting them to get started on launching their businesses, and has also conducted workshops in organizations such as Pula, the Luminate Group, Pernod Richard, Google, Mr. Green Africa, Nairobi Garage, to name a few. So join me to actually welcome Coach Ceci, and it's really an amazing, it's really inspiring to have you here to share your insights and to really listen to you deep down to really tell us what you know about the topic. Ajifama, if you want to throw anything before I begin the session. I know some people actually having some little technicalities as the video quality, but it should be live. So maybe you can just type on the chat to help them. Yeah, if you want to say something, Ajifama.
Yeah, good afternoon to you all from Gambia. It's good afternoon, and good day to everybody from anywhere you are. And my name is Ajifama Job. I am a co-host to this event, and I am really excited to be part of this event. And thank you, Bekor, for
Ceci.
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 For
even
attending.
My name is a mouthful.
Exactly. But we are really grateful to have you, and I think this is an interesting topic, and we have gone a lot to 2020 and 2021, and I think this is something we can all learn from. As Modou said, some of the strategies we need to survive, and a lot of us are going through it. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate being invited. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, it's quite unfortunate that a lot of people are actually having some technical issues. I think with the agenda, but I mean, we will actually record this session, so actually they can have access to it later.
Okay.
Yeah. So So just to begin, Ceci, I mean, it's just been amazing to actually have you here, and I'm sure you've been really, really busy, and with all the things that you're doing across Africa and beyond, really helping leaders find their purpose. It's quite exciting, and what more can we say? So, what exactly can you tell us? Because I've really heard you use the phrase "give yourself permission" a lot So I mean, I'm just curious, like, where exactly is this coming from? Like, where's this inspiration coming from deep down? Right?
Yeah. So give yourself permission is something that I tell myself often, and something that I tell my clients, because what I came to realize from when I started coaching people many years ago, I came to realize that even as adults, we're often afraid or reluctant to do certain things or say certain things. Even entrepreneurs who are quite courageous, you have to be courageous and maybe a little bit crazy to start your own business, because it's not easy. Even people like that, I find, some quite often hold themselves back when it comes to certain things. And so rather than waiting for somebody to say, Aji, go ahead and do that, Modou, go ahead and do that, rather than waiting and hoping somebody will tell us, it's about giving yourself permission to do that thing. So if there's anyone here, for example, or anyone who'll be watching this video who wants to start a business or change the direction their business is taking, start a relationship, end a relationship, whatever the case may be, it's very important to understand that, you're an adult now. You're responsible for your happiness, not even your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, certainly your parents. Once you get to a certain age, it's helpful if it dawns on you that you're the one who makes your own happiness in life. And so give yourself permission is a helpful reminder for everybody. Like, if I want to do this thing, let me go ahead and give myself permission to do it. So that's where that comes from.
Wow, super, 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 super awesome. A lot of young people across Africa, I mean, have had issues in regards to really making really tough decisions in their life. I think it really boils down to how the society really mold you and how they perceive you, and it really has affected a lot of young people today. I mean, quite a number of young people can have the independence, really make decisions by themselves. I think it's more about like, if I do this, how will the society view me? So I mean, that lack of, and that has actually also contributed to a lot of self morale going down, because it's like you very not sure of yourself. So it's really, so how do you handle this kind of situation, like where you find yourself in an environment where you really it's dictating you on what exactly you need to do? Because I mean, I'll just give an example. We've had a lot of young people that really going to university, and it's like most of the things that they're doing now is not what they were good at. It's like there was this self-proclamation that either their parents or people that they believed in put on them, and they just start to realize that they made the wrong decision. Like, how do you navigate from this this mental dominance?
Well, it's a different story when you're, for example, still financially dependent on your parents. I'm somebody who went to university and studied something that it was a bit of a grind. I went to law school, and I finished law school, but it was a grind. And what I realized was I did a double degree. I did the humanities, so philosophy, politics, this kind of thing, and law school. And so I understand this whole thing of you find yourself in uni and you realize, oh gosh, have I made a mistake? And it's a different story when you're financially dependent on someone else, like your parents. One of the things I encourage people to do is to have a courageous conversation. You can have a courageous conversation with, say, your parents and let them know, look, I don't know if this is the right thing for me. I do want to thrive in my work life. I want to do well in my work life. It also depends on how you communicate the message. You know, if you just go to your parents and say, I've dropped out, that will be problematic. If you go to your parents and say, I don't like what I'm doing, that will be problematic. But if you want to get a yes from anybody, it's helpful to communicate in a way that they understand. Yeah, it's helpful to communicate in a compelling way. So if I could have played the tape back, if I could play the tape of my life back, I mean, I don't have any regrets about what I've done. But what I would say is, if you could sit down with your parents, and of course it depends on their personality as well. Some parents are open, some parents are not. But if you can sit down with your parents and explain to them that, you know what, I really want to thrive in the work that I do. And I think I'm better suited to doing this, or I'm better suited to doing that. It also helps, for example, to speak to lecturers and professors and the people in university who will help you with your career. Speak to them first and see what advice they give you. So that also when you're going to speak to your parents, you know, you have information, you have sound, solid information in order to state your case. Now, as I said, some parents, of course, are not open to this. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with finishing a degree that maybe you didn't enjoy so much. I'm really, really glad I finished law school. I'm glad I did not drop out. That degree helps, you know, it helps. People still will look at you and wonder, okay, you know, why did you drop out? Why didn't you complete this? So there's nothing wrong with sometimes having to grind, doing something you don't really want to do. But at the same time, you can start dabbling here and there with what you do want to do. So for example, if you value entrepreneurship, and you're a young student and you're feeling stuck in university because you're not doing the courses that you want to do, you can dabble in entrepreneurship on the side, you know, test out some ideas, get together with your friends. And this is all part of well-being and wholesome living, you know, to be doing something that for you is purposeful, for you is meaningful, is very, very important. Now, you can fast forward a few years later and imagine yourself in a job that you don't particularly enjoy, and you don't have enough savings to quit that job. I've worked with clients in this situation. They're leaders in organizations. They're not particularly enjoying their job. Some have enough savings to quit, give themselves a bit of a break, but others don't have enough savings to do that. And for them, the advice is the same. You know, there's nothing wrong with grinding away for a little bit of time in this other job, while on the side, you start dabbling in what you really enjoy. Get together with other people, share ideas, you know, get something started. Yeah. We don't always get what we want like this. Sometimes we do get what we want just like that, but other times it's a bit of a process, and that's okay. That's okay.
Wow. Oh, wow, super cool. So I'm just gonna like deep dive into like the word well-being. You know, it's actually something that is really like big, you know, I would say. And you know, like there's a lot of definition when you talk about well-being. And you know, it covers a lot of like people who are into relationship, you know, having emotional stress, and you know, creative, spiritual things are actually like part of the whole puzzle. But like, what can you tell us about this word? Like, that is really, really, really important, especially, you know, especially in our current situations, in our current age, you know, from, you know, living with COVID. And now it's like, even if we are really optimistic about COVID going, but it's like, I mean, everything centers around how do we take care of ourselves, like, and really, really a good word. So what can you tell us about it?
Well-being, you're right. It's a big word. It can be sometimes quite a bit too general, a bit too vague. So for me, I like to divide it into a number of categories, and it helps for clients to think about it, their own well-being, in a number of categories. So there's, of course, your mental well-being. Are your thoughts getting the best of you? Are your thoughts stressing you, getting you into a spiral? Or are your thoughts moving you forward? Are your thoughts moving you forward? Yeah. So let me give you an example just from this webinar. So we're having technical issues, right? And there's two kinds of people. They're the people who are going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They're the people who are panicking. They're the people who are like, there's no video. You people, there's no video. And then there's the people who are going, okay, but I can still hear. So let me just listen. And let me tell you something. Many years ago, I would have been in the first category, freaking out, panicking, negative spiral. But when you start observing your thoughts, and when you start realizing your thoughts can either move you forward or keep you stuck, you start being really, really careful about the thoughts you allow. Yeah, the thoughts you allow yourself to think. So mental well-being revolves around that. Yeah, and are my thoughts me driving my thoughts? I like to say to people, another sentence I like to say to clients is, what did you make that thing that happened? What in your mind did you make it mean? What did you make 2020 mean? I heard all kinds of things. We're being punished by God because of how terrible we've been. On the other hand, I have other people saying, I 2020 mean it's time to slow down. I need to hang out with my kids again. And you know what's really crazy, Modou? I have a lot of clients who, and I quote verbatim, they said to me 2020 was their best year. So it's what happens. It's what you make it mean. It's where you allow your mind to go about that situation. So that's mental well-being, right? Emotional well-being is the second category. Are you allowing yourself to feel emotions? Variety of emotions. There's joy, there's excitement, there's pride, there's disappointment, sadness, loneliness, irritation, anger, frustration. There's so many emotions available for us to feel. Are you allowing yourself to feel your emotions? Are you allowing your emotions to get the better of you? Or are you suppressing your emotions? Because that's another problem. Okay? I like to say to clients that your emotions are messengers. Yeah? Your emotions are messengers. You might be sitting in front of someone and they're saying whatever they're saying, and you start feeling some type of way. Joy, excitement, or anxiety, irritation, frustration. Your emotions are messengers, and it helps to feel them and listen to them, to pay attention to them. Okay? So for me, I'm constantly noticing how I feel emotionally about something, about someone, and I'm using that to guide me. And here's the thing, your emotions can get triggered even just by reading a message on WhatsApp, a message on your phone. The emotions are there to guide you. That's why as coaches, we like to encourage people to feel their emotions and pay attention to their emotions. Yeah. And modalities like traditional Chinese medicine, they say that physical ailment, that is the tail end of a long process that starts with an emotional disturbance in your body. Yeah, so they believe that the emotions, your emotions can, certain kinds of emotions disturb certain organs. So you can go see a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner and you say you have a headache, but they're conducting acupuncture or acupressure on different parts of your body. So I find that quite fascinating. Yeah, it shows you how powerful emotions are. So that's emotional well-being. And then of course there's physical well-being. How do you feel in your body? Are you feeling older than you are? Are you still feeling strong and flexible? Physical well-being. For me, I just get a personal trainer to help me with that. And even now, for example, I do boxing, which I really enjoy. The trainer wears a mask. He has the visor. So that's how we protect ourselves. We do it outdoors. So physical well-being, I say to clients, it helps to do something that you enjoy. If you enjoy yoga, do that. But not everybody enjoys yoga. So do something physical that you enjoy, especially after 2020 and beyond. We spent a lot of time sitting down in front of our laptops. Many people gained a bit of weight. I'm no exception. So getting physical and doing something you enjoy is very, very important. Okay. And then I add to those creative, spiritual, and relational well-being. Human beings, let's talk about creative well-being. Human beings are born creative, and anyone who has a little child will tell you that they are so creative. They're curious, they're experimenting with things, and parenting coaches, and I know a few parenting coaches. Parenting coaches are always encouraging us to allow our children to explore, within reason, of course. When your 4-year-old knocks over the glass, they're not trying to be naughty. They're not, going out of their way to disrespect you. They're experimenting, they're exploring. And if you approach it with that mentality, you'll find yourself knocking heads with your children less and less and less. So we are born creative. Creativity is something that a lot of us drop along the way, in the name of being serious, in the name of adulting. And that's a mistake, Modou. It's a mistake because being creative fills us up. It lights up different parts of our brains. When you study, one side of your, part of your brain lights up. When you're being creative, another part of your brain lights up. And I like the definition of creativity that Steve Jobs uses. Steve Jobs used. He said creativity is connecting the dots. Creativity doesn't necessarily mean you have to now start drawing or painting or playing an instrument. Of course, you can do those things, but you can even be creative in your thinking. You can be creative about where the direction you want your business to take. Allow yourself to be creative. Be creative about how you solve problems in the workplace. Allow yourself to be creative. I like to encourage the leaders I work with to make time to have pure brainstorming sessions with their team. Pure brainstorming sessions. We've got this challenge here. How can we resolve it? How do we solve it? And allowing people to just bring pure creativity to it. Yeah. It helps to be creative. You'll certainly feel good, gets those endorphins going. So that's creative well-being. And then relational well-being has to do with the company that you keep. Your friends can either elevate you or drag you down. So being really mindful about who you're spending time with. Are your friends and colleagues talking about things that expand you and move you forward? Or are they complaining, whinging, whining, gossiping? It's really, really important to pay attention to the sort of company you keep. And that, of course, applies also to what you're giving your energy and attention to online. What are you giving your energy and attention to online? Yeah, because that is also either going to move you forward or just waste your time. Yeah, and what you view online, of course, triggers you mentally, triggers you emotionally. So you really need to be careful with that. What sorts of people are you following on Facebook, Twitter, all these platforms? And then spiritual well-being. It's really interesting, Modou, because I've also coached atheists. Yeah, so I've coached Christians, Hindus, Muslims, atheists. I've coached a lot of different people. And even with the atheists, we do have spiritual conversations. You know, when I say to them, okay, fine, you might call it God, but isn't there an organizing force at work here? You know, why do birds fly in formation? You know, how do you explain the 9-month process of pregnancy? There is something that's organizing this whole thing called life. And all the atheists I've worked with, they acknowledge that, okay, you know what? Yeah, of course you're right, there is. And so connecting to something bigger than yourself is very helpful, particularly when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling down. It's very helpful to connect to something bigger than yourself. You feel less lonely. You feel supported.
Yeah.
So for me, those are the dimensions of well-being that I like to encourage people to think about and pay attention to what you're doing and the feedback you're receiving in all those different areas.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna just bring you back. I mean, you've mentioned how it is very relevant for someone to be really conscious about how to use social media. Personally, I mean, I've been somebody that used to use Facebook a lot, but at some point I felt like the environment on Facebook changed because of the quality of the friends that I had. So it was the moment I log in, I'm logging off. It's I'm not excited anymore. So it's how do we navigate dealing with this guy? Because you are actually using it for a different purpose. But then you have this couple of friends or people in that zone whereby it just makes you a bit depressed with what they post. And it's you're in to get probably to network. You're actually in probably to to kind of learn from a lot of stuff, but then you log in and it's the feed is just giving you all these vibes that you're like, how do I stop this? And sometimes I want to log in to check a friend, but it's the moment I log in, the first thing that I see is something that's totally out of line. So it's how do we deal with this? How do we deal with this? Is it okay to really is it okay to just stay away, or how do we navigate from this toxic social media from actually friends that we know,
well, just unfriend them online or keep scrolling past. If you're on WhatsApp, just archive. It's you have the power to do this. And for me, Modou, I'm so conscious of what drains me and what inspires me. And so if something is draining you, look away. Press that little X on the corner of your the window on the screen. Leave the WhatsApp group if it's not helping you. I've done that. I've done that a lot because you see your energy is being taken. Yeah, so everybody who's listening to this webinar right now is giving us their energy, Modou, and we respect that. But there's so many people that don't respect that. They're just going to waste your time and your energy. So once you realize that, okay, I've just spent the last hour doing this unhelpful thing, that's an hour you could have spent doing something remarkable. Brainstorming a business idea with a friend, doing some business development, hanging out with your son or your daughter, working out. We talked about physical well-being. When you start to really appreciate and respect and value your time, you start to see how it becomes very easy. Let me put it that way. It becomes very easy to do away with anything that is wasting your time. It's a personal thing. It's a personal thing, Modou. It's a personal thing. What I find funny, you might not find funny. So the two of us will respond differently to the same post. You understand what I'm saying? And this is where give yourself permission. Give yourself permission comes in handy again, because Ceci is watching a Dave Chappelle stand-up show, and I'm laughing. I'm really enjoying myself. I should keep doing that. But somebody else might not find him funny at all. They should just pick something else on Netflix. So again, it's about giving yourself permission.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still on well-being, because when you talk about wholesome, it's like, that's like one of the most important stuff. I'm glad that now people have moved in from the backstage. They're coming slowly. For those that had really tech issues, so it's technology. So we get this a lot when we have in conferences and whatnot. So I'm just gonna just talk about, why is it like people across Africa, or we don't really prioritize well-being. There are a whole lot of people that I know that we always just keep on just working and just doing the normal routine every day. But it's we don't have it as part of our checklist. It's not like something that we prioritize. So why is this phenomenon really we really not taken seriously? Yeah.
That's such a good question, Modou. We could talk about this for the whole hour. It's very, very deep. It's very, very deep. Why don't we prioritize well-being? It's not just Africans, but let's talk about Africans. Well, number one, many of us didn't see our caregivers prioritize well-being. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our parents were grinding away. So we didn't see, we didn't have role models prioritizing well-being. Many of us went to schools that didn't prioritize well-being. I'm very lucky. I went to a primary school that placed a high value on sports, swimming, so you couldn't escape. Mm-hmm. You had to swim, you had to do sports, and I'm really thankful for that. Okay. But we could go deeper, Modou, and talk about how, because of history, some of us have to grind harder than others. Yeah, some of us have to grind harder than others. I lived in Australia for 15 years, and if you don't have a job in Australia, it's okay. You can get government benefits. Don't stress. You just, you'll get government benefits whilst you're job hunting, be easy. That's not the case in Kenya. So history has a big part to play in this. History has a really big part to play in this. So that's a very layered question. And the thing is, though, for me in my work, how do I get people, leaders, busy leaders, to appreciate the importance of prioritizing your well-being? I link it to success. That's what really gets people going. That's what really makes people realize, oh, wow, I need to prioritize well-being. You've got to link it to success. A lot of people, Modou, don't understand how someone like me does all the things I do. Ceci, I get asked this question. Ceci, how do you do all the things you do? You're everywhere. You've got a workshop here, you've got a workshop there, you have a daughter, you have a husband. Before 2020, I was traveling all over the place, even for fun. And the answer is very simple. I prioritize my well-being. So my energy levels, I have high energy levels. I'm not energetic all the time, but I'm energetic a lot of the times. I prioritize my well-being. Yeah, so across all those dimensions. Yeah, across all those dimensions, mental, emotional, physical, I'm prioritizing, and I'm rewarded by being given energy. Yeah, so when for me personally, I link it to success, and that seems to be what motivates people. Yeah, I need to link my well-being to my success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, I mean, like just to kind of like just do a little bit of attach on that, on that
Yeah.
scenario that you've actually mentioned it. So
And make
what is
moves.
it like for well-being in this situation that we're in? We actually in a situation where we were not able to do a lot of movements and,
Yeah.
the sort of events that we used to attend is kind of really not possible anymore.
Yeah.
And, everything seems very strange.
Mm.
So I think like, what kind of like, how do you view well-being in this situation? Like, what is it like for you, and how do you think it's supposed to be like carried out by a lot
Yeah.
of people?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what the really ironic thing is, Modou? Those people who were looking after their well-being across those dimensions even before 2020, they were okay. They were okay. So a lot of my friends, a lot of my coaching colleagues, I remember one friend of mine even told me, Ceci, if this had happened 5 years ago, I'd have had a breakdown. But she's somebody I know has been prioritizing her well-being for years. And so well-being also, prioritizing your well-being also makes you more resilient. It makes you more resilient. Yeah. So the thing to do in this day and age, in this new normal, is to start prioritizing your well-being. Who are you hanging out with? Whether it's face-to-face, outdoors, in a park somewhere. We've got a whole bunch of forests here in Kenya that people are now going to a lot more, where we're wearing our masks and all this, so that ticks the physical well-being box. It ticks the relational well-being box because, you're hanging around with maybe one or two people as you're walking in the forest or the park or outdoors. Relational well-being is really important. A lot of people have told me they to be blunt, they dropped a lot of superficial friendships and they are now so focused on certain rich, rewarding friendships. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So what does someone actually need to do to be well? Because like, you can't be a working professional but still not well. I've had a lot of friends that, trust me, man, like they really not okay deep down. So it's like, you have to go to work, you think you're okay, but deep inside,
you're
really
not
going through
okay.
a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you're not okay.
Like,
well,
so how do we become like really, really okay?
So here's the thing, Modou. Depending on how not okay you are, you either need to see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, or a coach. When it comes to business, it helps to have a mentor. Doing it by yourself is also really tricky. So I'm a big believer in coaching because I've seen the benefits of getting coached. I'm also somebody who receives coaching, and I'm somebody who gives coaching. So I know that trying to do it yourself is very difficult. So it helps to have a third party, an independent third party, to help you observe those thoughts of yours, to help you brainstorm those ideas of yours. Yeah. I don't know how to do it by yourself. I'll be very honest. I don't know how to do it. If I had not gotten a life coach over how old was I? Gosh, about 12 years ago. If I had not gotten a life coach, I would have been a mess right now because I was so stressed at work. I was working in corporate at the time. I wasn't in a good place. I got a life coach, turned my life around. If I had not gotten a business coach when I started a business, again, I'd have been in a mess. Things taking much longer than they need to take. Got a business coach, and getting a coach is like sitting on a rocket. You just go, you fly really fast. Yeah, because your coach will also stop you from making certain common mistakes. Yeah. So for example, when I started my business, I got a coach who taught me how to make sales authentically. So from the beginning, I was just, getting clients. Not because I'm a magician, but because I got help. Yeah. And I said earlier, when it comes to physical well-being, I have a personal trainer. Now, what happens is after you see these sorts of professionals for a while, you then develop the muscle to be by yourself and continue using the tools by yourself. But as you elevate yourself, you find new problems at every level you get to, every new level you get to, you have new problems to face. So it helps to speak to someone. And then you get to another level, you have new problems. It helps to speak to someone. Yeah. Last year, myself and two other coaches, I contacted two of my coaching friends, and we agreed that we would just coach one another. So if the coach is in 2020 and thinking, I better get some support, really everybody else should be doing the same thing, because we have the tools, we know the tools, we use the tools, and even we are going, I better get the support. This is a beast of a thing. Yeah, so get the help.
Wow.
Get the help. Yeah. And of course, if you've got if we talk a little bit about mental illness, I like to say mental fitness. That's why I mentioned, some people need to talk to a psychiatrist, a psychologist. There should be no shame around that. Yeah, just get the help. I have clients who have a psychologist and they get coaching at the same time, which is a very smart thing to do.
Wow.
Yeah, so take the actions.
Yeah. So, one important element as well that I think is really critical is like work-life balance. A lot of professionals like myself and others who've actually joined the call are probably gonna actually like watch this. I kind of like thinking, how do I really balance my life with everything that I'm doing?
Yeah.
And so, like, is this really like something that really someone that can achieve? So because sometimes like you're actually doing a lot, but then you're really not productive.
Yeah.
Because like it's draining down, and it's like you're not really prioritizing.
Yeah.
What exactly you need to. So how do we achieve this? Like, I feel like a lot of people would kind of really want to ask this question: how do I achieve work-life balance?
Yeah. Work-life balance is. I think it's a myth. I think you need to aim for what I call work-life integration, and a few coaches do this. We call it work-life integration. Yeah. Why is work-life balance a myth? It's a myth because 5 out of 7 days you're working, so you've already lost. 5 out of 7 days you're working. Exactly. How are we getting the balance? Yeah. So I want to invite everybody to just forget about that work-life balance phrase and think instead about work-life integration. Yeah. And work-life integration starts with you being authentic about what is meaningful to you. You being authentic about what is meaningful to you. Yeah. So for example, Modou, it's a Saturday evening right now in Nairobi. I don't normally work on Saturdays. If you had asked me to do this, normally I would say, hey, Modou, let's do it Monday to Friday. But you see, I have thought to myself, hang on a second, is this something worth doing? Is this meaningful to me? Meaningful enough to do on a Saturday evening? And the answer was yes. So checking in with yourself is very important. So now that I know I'm going to be doing a bit of work on Saturday evening, I can rearrange the rest of my week. Yeah, so normally I'd be playing with my daughter right now. We'd be watching, a Peppa Pig or something, but I'm not home right now. So I go out of my way to make time to hang out with her Saturday day. Yeah, so today morning, myself, my husband, and her were mucking around. My husband and my daughter were, making their banana muffins and all this. I was sitting outside on the balcony. I'm having my breakfast on the balcony. I didn't sleep very well last night, so I just gave myself a bit of a nap early afternoon, and then I came to the venue I'm in right now for this call. So I'm not feeling, Modou, I'm not feeling harassed. I'm not feeling irritated. I'm not feeling like, oh man, I've got to do this thing on Saturday evening. That's not how I talked about this webinar.
Yeah.
But without that reflection, without thinking about it, that's how we can mess ourselves up. So it's about work-life integration. So for example, when I travel these days, when I travel locally, so for example, I was recently at the coast, the Kenya coast. I arrive, I relax, I walk by the beach, I chill, and at the back of my mind, I know I'll be good to do some work tomorrow morning. So the next day comes, I have my breakfast, I'm relaxed, I'm easy. I go back to my room, I do some work. And I'm okay with that. And then for a couple of hours, I do that. And then once I'm done, straight into the swimming pool for some fun. You know what I mean? So it's integration. Playing around with the 8 hours you have in the day. Yeah, rather than being rigid, rather than being inflexible, play around. Give yourself permission. Yeah. It also helps to love what you do. Yeah. So my daughter is only 4 years old, but she knows that mommy has clients. Yeah. I have these meetings with a business partner of mine in the UK, and he's met my daughter. You know, she'll come over, she'll plonk herself next to me, I'll lift her up, put her face on the screen. He says hi to her, she says hi, and then she goes off with her nanny. It's all integration. It starts with being, again, giving yourself permission, being authentic, and telling yourself the truth about what you want to do. So for another example of work-life integration, Modou, is I'm very clear about the sorts of clients I want to work with. Dynamic, creative individuals, leaders in organizations, be they employed leaders or self-employed leaders, male, female, doesn't matter where in the world they're from. So what that means is I'm excited to talk to my clients. Modou, I never do this. Oh my God, I've got a session. Oh, I never do that. But you see, I've given myself permission to say, I want to work with these people and not with these people. I want to work with this type of person and not this type of person. When we start betraying ourselves, Modou, that's when life becomes really difficult. When you start betraying yourself, when you say yes, when you really mean no, things become really tricky for you. Yeah? So we say in coaching that every betrayal starts as a self-betrayal. Every betrayal starts as a self-betrayal. Yeah? I've had clients offered wonderful jobs. The job is just like a diamond. It's so shiny and so wonderful. But the company says, oh yeah, you're going to work on Saturdays. That's okay, right? And the client has gone, I'm not going to do that. So thank you so much, but I'm this job. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. Yeah, but that is an individual thinking holistically about their lives. That's an individual thinking holistically about their lives. So there's a lot to unpack with work-life integration. That's just a little bit.
So I'm just gonna I mean, this is just fascinating. I mean, quite a lot of insight. I feel like I'm gonna leave this webinar really feeling renewed, you know. So
there's a lot to reflect on.
It's really the best feeling ever. Yeah, exactly. So now I think just few questions and then we kind of wrap up this session because it's actually going to be, I'm so going to be getting darker in Nairobi.
Yeah. So, no, but that's okay because we started a bit late, so we should end up a little bit later.
So, Yeah, so I mean, like, when you talk about well-being, I mean, there are a lot of mistakes that a lot of people do as well. I mean, from your experience, I mean, coaching a lot of people,
Yeah.
what are really some of the mistakes that you see people doing, whilst they're trying to be okay?
Yeah.
So
Well,
something like,
yeah. A common example is when it comes to your physical well-being, doing something that
yeah,
everybody else is doing. Oh my gosh, everyone is into yoga. I'm hearing so much about yoga, so let me do yoga. So you try and do yoga, but
yeah,
it doesn't really resonate with you, and you keep insisting on doing it. Yeah, so I'll tell you, Modou, yoga, it didn't, I do a little bit of yoga, but it didn't really resonate with me. So what resonates with me is boxing. I did Qigong when I was in Australia. I did Qigong with a Qigong master. Qigong is, in the same family as Tai Chi. And I just took to it like a duck to water. You didn't have to, psych me up to go for the classes. I was in the car and off I went. Yeah. So one of the mistakes
yeah,
people make
yeah,
is, and again, not giving themselves permission. Yeah. I'm not a gym person. If I lie to myself and say, right, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to pay for this membership, what's going to happen is I might start off with a lot of steam, but a month later I'll just drop off. And a lot of people do that. So I like to encourage people to give themselves permission when it comes to thinking about what it is you're going to enjoy doing in the name of looking after your well-being. Yeah. So don't force yourself to try and learn a new musical instrument if you're not into that. Find something else to do. Yeah. Find something else to do. Be
yeah.
creative about how you want to look after yourself. So that, I would say, is looking outside, looking externally at what other people are doing and trying to force yourself to do it. So give
Yeah,
yourself permission to do
awesome.
what
So now we're
resonates.
just gonna, yeah. So now we're just gonna like kind of like wrap up with, I mean, one of the questions that really successful people think about a lot, which is actually the fun part. It's like, if you win an award or you have a
Yeah.
promotion or you're doing exceptionally well in your work. But I mean, how do you integrate that fun part? Is fun really part of really being successful? Or like how do you like see success really being integrated also whilst having fun?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So another way, if we circle back to the title of this webinar, Wholesome Living, another way of thinking about it is
yeah,
total success. Yeah. So not just success in one area of
mm,
your life, but total holistic success. Many years ago, when I was in my 20s, Modou, I remember I was at a meeting, one of these entrepreneurs breakfast meetings, and the guest speaker was talking about fun. So I was in my 20s. No, I think I was in my early 30s. The guest speaker was talking about fun, and it just didn't resonate with me. I thought to myself, fun, fun, fun. And now I'm 100% believer in the importance of having fun. Yeah. Fun has a lightness to it. It kind of, not kind of, it does propel you forward. We all know, we've all experienced fun. Yeah, you're relaxed, you're laughing a lot. When you have fun, you're also quite creative, because creativity doesn't really creativity isn't cultivated in uptight environments. Creativity isn't really cultivated
yeah,
when we're being judgmental and critical, small-minded. So we all know what it's like to have fun. So think of a time when you've had a lot of fun and just ask yourself, who were you being? And I've asked clients this question and they always say, I was relaxed, I was myself, I was bold, I was courageous. I didn't care what people thought about me. And when you are being that kind of person, you can do some really awesome things, as opposed to who you're being when you're uptight, restricted, you're too serious, or you're too dour. Yeah, you just limit yourself in so many ways. Fun is expansive. Fun opens you up. And Adults learn the same way children learn. We learn best when we're having fun. Okay, I want to invite everybody who's going to watch this video or anyone on this call to just ask yourself, how might you have performed in school if your math teacher made it fun, if your physics teacher made it fun, if your biology teacher made it fun, if your art and music teacher made it fun? I've spoken to a lot of people who have realized there are a lot of subjects they did not like simply because they were not made fun, they were not made practical. There was always this weight of, you've got to pass your exams and you've got to and, stop asking all these questions and, just cramming and regurgitating. I've spoken to a lot of people who have said things like, I actually think I could have enjoyed physics if it had just been taught differently to me. I actually think I could have enjoyed math if it was done differently. You know what I mean? And you see all these apps, these brain apps, they always make it fun. Lots of videos, lots of color, lots of pictures, lots of, the voiceover is a light voiceover, because they know that psychologically fun is so good for us. So that's the link between fun and success. And also, people like being around you if you're fun. Yeah, if you're fun. So I know a lot of people who are very good at business development because they're fun. They're relaxed, they're talkative, they can let their hair down. I had a conversation with a lady a few days ago, and we were talking about how, especially before 2020, how many deals were made outside of work. People are just somewhere having fun, and you happen to sit next to someone and poof, you've gotten a client. You've gotten a sale, at a wedding, at a party, it's happened to me as well. Not all my clients come through, formal webinars and meetings and all this. I've met clients at parties, at weddings, outdoors, having fun. So that's the link between fun. Wow. So there's fun, who you're being when you're having fun, how magnetic you are when you're having fun, and it leads to your success because people want to be around you. People want to work with you.
Wow. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much, Coach Ceci. I mean, it has been really such an amazing time actually learning a lot about this amazing topic like wholesome living,
Thank you.
And beyond. I think well-being, individuals, professionals, small business owners is really critical to their success, and it's something that really everyone has to really start looking into it and really integrating it into their lives. So we really appreciated your time, and it has really been an honor. I mean, probably sometime in the future I will probably pop by, in Nairobi with the team.
So good.
Yeah. So we. Yeah, so we're really excited, and thank you so much for taking the time to really part of this webinar. And for those that actually have questions, I think Ajipama has actually posted on the chat. I'm not sure if there is any questions, but if not, we would just like to thank you for joining and see you.
Thank you so much for having me. Take care, guys, and thank you for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks, man.